my name is George Eben-Spiff. This is Tommy.
Q.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some parts of history of 1913. Well, I'm going to talk about the history of a little bit of the history of BMW. In 1913, Carl Frederick Rapp, he started Rapp Motor Work, and he started building aircraft. And not many people know that BMW started from aircraft actually, but he started it and he had problems with the engines he built because there was too much vibration, so they're not really reliable. But Gustav Otto, he's the son of the famous inventor of the internal combustion engine. He had a small business that created airplanes, and he was successful. So, and he was close to Rapp. Carl Frederick Rapp, and later on in 1916, Carl Frederick Rapp had a contract, and he was required to build 12 V12 engines. So he absorbed Gustav Otto's factory, and they came together to build those engines. And he later on, and that collaboration became Bayerisch Flugzeugwerk, and that means Bavarian aircraft work. In 1916, an Austrian engineer named Franz Joseph Popp, he got some contracts, some military contracts, and which that made a lot of profit for. At that time, it was called Rapp Motor Work, and later on it became Bavarian Motor Works. So that's when actually BMW was formed. BMW, the birth date of BMW was March 7th, 1916. At the end of there was a tough business climate at the end of World War I. That was in 1920. BMW struggled a bit. He started doing brake system for railway cars, office furniture, and work benches, and they cut down on aviation engines and used them for marine and industrial uses. And yes, the sign of BMW is based on the circular design of the propeller of an airplane. And I think that's all I can say. There's a lot I can go into, but I'll just decide to stop here for now. I'm going to leave it. Tommy?
We'll be talking about Henry Ford and moving assembly line, also called Fordism. And
yeah.
Americans adapted rather than inventing the gasoline engine. Europeans can claim the original honor. By the 1890s, a few daring American inventors and promoters, including Henry Ford and Ransom E. Oldsmobile, were developing the infant automotive industry. By 1910, 69 car companies rolled out a total annual production of 181,000 units. The early contraptions were neither speedy nor reliable. Many stalled motors, profanely cranking a bulky automobile, had to endure the jeer and get a horse from the occupants of a passing Dobbin-drawn carriage. An enormous industry sprang into being as Detroit became the motor car capital of America. The mechanized Colossus owed much to the stopwatch efficiency techniques of Frederick W. Taylor, a prominent inventor, engineer, and tennis player who sought to eliminate wasted motion. His epitaph reads, "The father of scientific management." Best known as a new crop of industrial wizards was Henry Ford, who more than any individual put America on rubber tires. His high and hideous Model T, Tin Lizzie, was cheap, rugged, and reliable, although rough and clattering. The parts of Ford's flivver were highly standardized, but the behavior of his rattling good car was so eccentric that it became the butt of numberless jokes. Lean and silent Henry Ford, who was said to have wheels in his head, erected an immense personal empire on the cornerstone of his mechanical genius. Though his associates provided much of the organizational talent, ill-educated, this multimillionaire mechanic was socially and culturally narrow. History is bunk, he once testified. He dedicated himself with one-track devotion to the gospel of standardization. After 2 early failures, he grasped and applied fully the technique in the moving assembly line, what he called Fordism. He's supposed to have remarked that the purchaser could have his automobile in any color he desired, just as long as it was black. So economical were his methods that in the mid-1920s he was selling the Ford Roadster for $260. But within the purse of a thrifty worker, before long, Fordism caught fire outside the United States. German engineers were particularly enamored, though the workers represented those American methods. The flood of Fords was phenomenal. In 1914, the automobile wizard turned out his 500,000th Model T. By 1930, his total had risen to 20 million, or, on a bumper-to-bumper basis, more than enough to encircle the globe. A national newspaper and magazine poll conducted in 1923 revealed Ford to be the people's choice for the presidential nomination in 1924. By 1929, when the Great Bull Market collapsed, 26 million motor vehicles were registered to the United States. This figure, averaging 1 for every 4.9 Americans, represented far more automobiles than existed in all the rest of the world.
Mine's gonna be very brief. I'm gonna talk about a couple of stories about what Papa told me when he was young in the Dust Bowl. Born in 1933, which would really be a sucky year to be born in because of the Dust Bowl. His parents died at the age of 2. His father was actually a black farmer, so growing up was kind of tough for them. I remember him telling me stories about all the sand in the house and